Hi, welcome to our May wrap up. It is we're doing a May wrap up. I think Goodreads is broken because this is not an accurate account of everything I read in May. I feel like sometimes it fucks with the date completed on it, but we're just gonna go with it for now, okay? It was an okay reading month. It wasn't spectacular. There was no really big standouts for me. So we'll make it kind of brief, you know, nothing crazy. You know, first up, to give the people what they want, AKA Alex from What Page Are You On, and Claire, I read the first of the My Brilliant Friend Quartet. I liked it. This is really beautifully written. Ferrante has such a specific stylistic way of writing. Very her own, very singular. I love the descriptions of Naples. I enjoyed the latter half of this book. If you don't know what this book is about, hold on, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back. This is the story of a girl named Lucky. This is a story about two best friends, two Italian little girls growing up. This is the first in a series of 4 books so far that traces their relationship to one another, their relationship to their home village in Italy, and kind of at large, the more societal, psychological impacts of the time and place they're being raised in, right? So this is the first. We follow them and meet them as children, which I will say was interesting. I don't love reading about children, so that was a little rough for me, but I would say like 2/3 of the book are about adolescence, which is more interesting to me to read. And we're getting to know Elena and Lila. They're from a poor neighborhood in Naples, and they're kind of moving through the world and assessing their next steps in different paths. One chooses academia and one chooses love and marriage. So getting very spicy at the end here, left us on a cliffhanger. I hope to read the other 3 books this summer, so I'm sure June, July, and August wrap-ups will have the rest of these. I'm liking it. Solid read. You know, it's like a book with characters and a plot. It's fun. And I read Death in Her Hands by our lad, Ottessa Moshfegh. We love Ottessa. We love her women versus the void narrative she crafts. This is about a elderly woman who, after the death of her husband, moves to a piece of property she purchased in the woods with her dog named Charlie. And she kind of loses it, y'all. She kind of cracks from there. She finds a note on her property in the woods that is a supposed, what does it say? Yeah, it's a handwritten note, and it says, her name was Magda. Nobody will ever know who killed her. It wasn't me. Here is her dead body. And it basically sets off an obsessive pattern with our main character where she kind of starts hallucinating into the reality of this note and crafting and bending her circumstances and reality to find out what this mystery was and trying to solve it. I think it's an interesting tale of like obsession, and I like that it centered a character who was an older woman, which I feel like not a lot of authors do, right? I don't know, I can't think of many books where the protagonist is an older woman. Yeah, there's kind of like a sinister tone. We get glimpses into the past of abuse that our narrator has suffered. And overall, it was definitely worth my time reading it, but it's not my favorite Moshfegh by any means. I definitely liked Eileen and My Year of Rest and Relaxation more than I liked this one, but I'm a bit of a completist. You know what I mean? Transit! Rachel Cusk. I gave myself another Rachel Cusk treat this month. This is the second in her outline trilogies, which is kind of like a living memoir autobiography, kind of similar to the Deborah Levy stuff. And I loved this one. I predicted this to be a 5-star read, and while it was not, it was only a 4. It was still incredible. I think Rachel Cusk is so smart. Obviously. It's just really, really psychological. There are these kind of slices of life chapters, but they're kind of observational writing, right? This is called a novel, but I don't understand why authors call things novels when they're like obviously not novels. Maybe I'm just like antiquated. Yeah, this second in the series is her traversing through a divorce and moving to London and trying to establish a home, not only like spatially for her children, but also her artistic practice and her like personal life in a new city after this big change. And I just thought it was really beautiful. It's like introspective, psychological, like I said, kind of slices of life, pieces of writing about her just moving through the world. She's like, here's my interactions with my house renovation guy. Here's my interactions with an ex-boyfriend I ran into on the street. I just think she has such a beautiful way of making like the mundane, boring things of moving through your life and just making them art, you know? She's really living in the moment. She's really romanticizing her life. She is the main character. Then I read David Sedaris' Theft by Finding. This is like a 400-page book, and you're absolutely not supposed to read it front to back, right? Like there's even a foreword in the book from David Sedaris, and he's like, you're a freak if you read this front to back. I did. I read everything else by David Sedaris. This is my last one. So it was like such a fun addendum to being able to see the inner workings of some of the essays he's made and books he's made in periods of his life from like a really, really, really personal point of view. He's a humorist and essayist and is my problematic fave forever. I loved like being able to see the day he met Hiiii, his husband, him kind of chronicling his mother's death, how his sister Tiffany's mental illness affected the family. I think this is just like the first edition, and we'll probably have like another, you know, it ended in 2002. I'm sure he's a lifelong journaler, so I'm excited to get another edition of this insight. So generous. We love you, David. We love you. Okay, I read some other things. Let me try to find them. 'Cause I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. This was such a nice tiny baby to jump in and jump out of. My first Lahiri. Jumpa Lahiri? Little fragments of, similar to this is Kuskian, I would say. Observational writing, feels very much so like autofiction to me. It's a collection of essays. Again, this is called a novel. This is not a novel. Why are we making essay collections that are autofiction novels? I don't understand. What is a novel anymore? Really beautiful prose. I like that the author wrote this in Italian and translated it from Italian to English herself. Very cool. I don't know many authors that do their own translations, so that's interesting. Covers giving us Uda Barth. Am I right? Uda Barth. I'm gonna put an Uda Barth picture here now so you know what I'm talking about. Love a formalist photographer. I liked it. It was good. It's definitely meditative, serene, very evocative of a time and place, right? It has a strong sense of place. I'm in this Italian villain. I'm in this Italian village with our narrator, and we're academics, baby. We're in our little apartment and thinking about our role in life. Art is life. Very romantic. Kind of Patti Smithian too. Smithian, Kuskian, what are we gonna do? In retrospect, my favorite of the month. Thank you, Jalen, for forcing me to buy this. Very, very interesting piece of writing, you guys. This won the Booker, or it was nominated for the Booker, the International Booker. It was nominated, it didn't win. So this is set in a near future dystopian kind of setting. We're on a spaceship called the 6000 ship, and it has two types of crew members. One that are human and one that are AI that are extremely human-like. Like if you're not keen to the differences, you wouldn't be able to indistinguish AI humans from real humans, right? While they're on this ship, they discover these objects, and all of the human and humanoid employees develop a really strange and like primal attraction to them. Not sexually, they just want to be around them. They want to absorb their energy. They are organic material that everyone is just trying to orbit around, really. And it makes them less focused on their duties of the ship, which were previously a really strong calling they felt. They felt really called to their vocation of being crew members on this spaceship, and they are kind of put back in this reminiscing, sentimental place of missing warmth and intimacy and human connection and child rearing, and all these memories that are either real from the humans or kind of constructed and fabricated from the humanoids of what Earth was, right? Because in this near future, Earth is no longer. They're trying to find new habitable planets to live on. So it kind of throws all of the crew members into this tizzy of like, what is the meaning of life? Like, kind of like a capitalist revolt, but in a really beautiful, sentimental way of comparing work versus living, humanity. What are we living for, right? It's structured as witness statements, which is really, really interesting. Like, they're fragmentary and really tiny. You can fly through this book in an hour, and they kind of get more unhinged as it goes on, as people are like revolting more and more. Very interesting. A critique of the lie of productivity and a critique of living to work. Beautiful. Really recommend this. I bought it from Blackwell's, which is a UK bookstore. They ship internationally for free. I don't think it's in America yet. That's what I read. That's what I read in June. Kind of a weird month for reading, you know? I don't know. This is me. This is me. This is me. Are we gonna get the thumbnail? Is this the thumbnail? Ugh, what else bookish is going on, you guys? I just saw on Kaylee Hyde's vlog. She was sponsored by a company called Literati, which is a book subscription service that actually looked really interesting and cool. Like a good alternative that was like less YA fantasy focused than Book of the Month. They kind of have ambassadors who are celebrity figures, like Malala is one and Roxane Gay, and 10 other people. There's 12 influencers who are leading like a year-long book club, and you can like choose whose book club you're in each week, and there's an app and I'm sure like a discounted rate that you buy the book for. But there were some good choices. There's like Lester and all I'm remembering is Lester, but I was interested in it. I was like, ooh, an ad that actually might work on me. Okay, so that's that. Was your reading month good? Was it cute? Would you recommend? Have you read anything from the International Booker? I think this is actually like the week I started BookTube a year ago, which is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I low-key feel like my whole life has changed because of BookTube. Not to be dramatic, but kind of has. Cool. See ya. See you around. Hope you're doing good. Love ya. Bye.